In the last episode, I unexpectedly bought a 1989 Catalina 36 and moved on board. In this episode, we get down and dirty as we dive into every nook and cranny, discovering mystery liquids, broken hoses, and a whole lot of things to add to the never-ending boat to-do list. We also get to go sailing in Banderas Bay for the first time on our friend's boat. Come along with us as we learn as we go, living and working on board. Though we had moved on board with the bare minimum household goods and luggage, it was still an overwhelming process to begin unpacking while packing. The thing about sailboats, especially relatively small sailboats like mine, is that there's a very finite storage space. And like living in a house where you can kind of get away tossing a few things here and there, on a sailboat everything needs a ship-shaped spot to call home. And yes, I mean everything. We got a cookie cutter, we don't have an oven. We have ice trays, we don't have a refrigerator or freezer. So yeah, there's things we gotta fix on the boat soon. The first three things I grabbed we can't use for a while. The first order of business to try to control this chaos was to take inventory of every locker from bow to stern. Luckily, we didn't have to start from scratch. One of the many things that came on board Tangai was a set of these handwritten notebooks that my dad had left on board. And yes, my parents used to own this sailboat one owner ago. Check out the previous episode for more detail. But anyway, back to it. My dad had meticulously organized every locker into each page with a full inventory list. This was quite frankly golden. As to be honest, I don't think we would have managed to even start this project properly, overwhelmed as we were in the first couple weeks on board. Also, to be quite frank, we wouldn't have even known what half of these spare parts were the first couple of weeks on board. So down the locker rabbit hole we crawled. It's a rather laborious and tedious process, but one I highly recommend for anyone new on board, or if you just haven't done it in a while. Things tend to move around, and it's not always easy to recall where you put it when you actually need it. The other side, or silver lining as this case turned out, is that you tend to discover things deep in the belly of the boat that haven't been seen by anyone in years, possibly ever. In the very last locker, after a very hot and humid day of crawling through the boat, right when we thought we were about done, Petra discovered this radioactive-looking liquid just pooling there for who knows how long. We started the day cleaning the decks, got the awning back up. AC unit is not working, so that had to come off. But while we were cleaning aft cabin, we have found some mystery coolant in our bilges. Luckily it's not from our engine, and a hose clamp that needs to be replaced, so we have a few more hours of work left. So a little cooling off right now. When Petra signed up to come live on the boat, yeah, she was expecting maybe margaritas and pina coladas in the afternoon.
Not me.
Not you.
The whole playa. See? Look at my yellow liquid here.
So if it leaked, maybe it leaked a while ago.
I don't think it's a leak. We never had
The locker didn't have anything else in it, being almost inaccessible normally. But here, with no obvious connection to the rest of the boat, was a pool of engine coolant, just collecting, very far away from where it should be. So much for almost being done with the day. Time to bring out the big guns. I called Captain Dad.
forward end of the refrigerator, the very bottom. So everything runs there. That runs down this tiny little. They're going from the engine under the engine backwards.
Yeah, I see one attaches here.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, you can see them. Yeah. So they right. You see, there's a transmission one.
Yeah.
I think if we go back where the green stuff is, the other hose is probably a breather hose for the tank, the water tank.
Yeah, the green one is looks like, because the clear one, the clear one is attached to the tank too, so that must. We talked to the problems together. While the cause itself still made us scratch our heads, the culprit was a cracked coolant container in the cockpit locker that over time had slowly snaked its way down. Crazy thing is, the seal is still on the bottle. Just comes to show, always expect the unexpected on board. Well, I guess we're getting deep into the fixing actual things, even though we haven't quite finished moving on yet. So we're learning fast. While we have been cleaning up the cockpit locker after finding that offending coolant, I heard Petra yell out from deep in there, "Hey, this hose has a crack in it." Again, great catch, but not what I wanted to hear. It became soon apparent that Petra's superpower was finding problems where we least expected them. A superpower that, as the skipper, I wasn't always thrilled about, but one that was crucial to the boat's future and well-being. Hey guys, I am inside of a locker right now, trying to do a temporary fix of our manual bilge pump that has a giant rip in the hose until we can replace the whole thing. It's probably like 100 degrees out here and it is toasty in this locker, so let me get started. I just managed to get the metal part off the hose and now I'm just gonna try to reattach it. Granted, this is just a temporary fix. The entire hose has to now be replaced and probably the diaphragm for the pump, so it's gonna be a much bigger job. Not something you want in a hose. There's a giant hole in it, especially when its job is to take water off your boat. So fixed it temporarily. We have a big project coming up soon now. This was a major catch, however. The hose in question was the manual bilge pump, and the crack was right by the frame, meaning there would be absolutely no pumping out the waters in case of an emergency. After days of hot and sweaty manual projects, our dock neighbor Timon invited us out to go sailing on his boat, Hosea. We literally jumped on board for a chance to go sailing, swimming, and just to enjoy being out here. Banderas Bay is one of the deepest and largest bays in the world, an ideal playing ground with varying winds and conditions to learn to sail, race, or just enjoy watching the humpbacks during the season. A few hours of sailing, swimming, and enjoying our friends' company on board was just what we needed. We were refreshed, relaxed, and ready for the next round of projects.
Captain overboard!
We were motivated more than ever. It was time to get Tengai out into the bay ourselves. Join us in the next episode as we tackle more projects, learn about our boat system, and finally take Tengai out for our maiden sail.
What do you say, Captain? We follow you.
Shut up. I may only have lost half a year of my life, not a whole year. If you like what we're doing, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you.